Chosen One, your haters were wrong about you, completely wrong, and the proof is circulating without your involvement. You are the real deal, and recognition is catching up to what you already knew. Now eyes are opening, dots are connecting, and your foresight is undeniable. Power is returning to you, amplified, irreversible by divine design. That third party is starting to see things now. The same venom, the same twisted stories, the same victim performance. Small red flags are adding up into a picture that looks exactly like what you warned about. But you're not sitting around waiting for apologies. You took that attack and turned it into fuel. While gossip spread, you were building. While lies flew, you were leveling up. While your reputation faced destruction, you were constructing your legacy. The attacks aren't meant to break you. These attacks are meant to activate you. Every lie they told about you was actually revealing their playbook. Every accusation was a confession. The cheater called you unfaithful. The liar called you deceptive. The manipulator called you controlling. It was all projection, and you documented every single piece. You knew exactly what was happening because you've studied this game. You understand narcissistic patterns. You recognize emotional manipulation. You see through fake victim performances. That's why you stayed calm while rage happened around you. That's why you went silent while stories spread. You knew the truth would surface without you having to defend yourself, and now it is surfacing everywhere. That third party went through their phone, found the messages, discovered the conversations, saw the proof of everything you tried to warn about. Every single thing they said about you was actually describing themselves. You already knew this because you're not operating from emotion, you're operating from strategy. You played chess while others played checkers. You thought long-term while short-term thinking dominated, and now the consequences of their choices are catching up with velocity. The conversations happening about you right now would shock you if you heard them. People are using words like authentic, real, genuine, trustworthy. The same people who wouldn't even listen to your side are now defending that side without ever hearing it from you. They're connecting dots, they're making conclusions, they're arriving at truth through their personal experience with that toxic person. And the realization is hitting them hard because they're recognizing how they were manipulated into hurting someone innocent. Remember when you shared your knowledge, you taught about boundaries, about self-worth, about recognizing red flags, about not accepting disrespect. You gave tools for protection. But here's what you also knew would happen. Some people take empowerment and twist it into entitlement. They pervert wisdom into justification for cruelty. You knew this, you saw it coming, but you taught anyway, because that's what chosen ones do. When they blamed you for teaching toxicity, you didn't defend yourself. You knew that accountability turned into ammunition is a sign of someone who was never ready for the wisdom in the first place. You admitted your past mistakes, you owned your growth, you showed vulnerability, and they collected it like evidence. But here's what they didn't understand. Admitting flaws isn't weakness, it's power, it's integrity, and people are starting to recognize that now. That third party is realizing something crucial. The person who can admit mistakes is the person with real strength. The person who deflects and blames everyone else is the problem. They're watching now. Every ex gets called crazy. Every friend gets called jealous. Every person who left gets called the problem. And the pattern is undeniable now. If everyone is supposedly the problem, maybe the common denominator is the real issue. You already knew this pattern because you've seen it before. You recognized it early. You protected yourself accordingly. And now others are seeing what you tried to show them. Your warnings weren't hate. Your warnings were truth. Your distance wasn't cruelty. Your distance was wisdom. Your boundaries weren't mean. Your boundaries were necessary. And people are finally understanding that you weren't the villain. You were the only one being real. Your essence threatened them on a level they couldn't articulate. You have a light that's undeniable, a presence that naturally attracts, gifts that make you magnetic, and just by existing authentically, you expose their shadow. You didn't try to compete. You didn't even think about competition. You were just being yourself, and that was enough to make them feel small. So they attempted to dim your light. They launched campaigns, they spread gossip, they multiplied lies. They worked overtime trying to convince everyone your light was fake, your goodness was performance, your kindness was manipulation. But authenticity can't be faked, real inner work can't be imitated, and when people interact with you directly, the dissonance becomes deafening. The lies don't match reality. You knew this would happen because you understand energy. You knew that truth always surfaces. You knew that masks always slip. So while they were building a house of cards, you were building a foundation of stone. While they were creating illusions, you were creating legacy. While they performed, you were becoming. And now the contrast is so stark that nobody can deny it. More people are choosing to believe their own eyes instead of second-hand stories. More people are questioning the narrative. More people are seeing through the smoke, and that toxic person is losing credibility fast. But you're not celebrating their downfall. You're too busy rising to pay attention to their fall. That's the difference between someone focused on revenge and someone focused on elevation. While gossip spread, you grew. While lies flew, you healed. While they attempted destruction, you transformed. You went through a season people mistook for failure. You pulled back and they assumed you were quitting. You went quiet and they assumed you were hiding in shame. You retreated and they believed you were defeated. But you weren't doing any of those things. You were in a divine rest period. You were shedding old skin. You were building in darkness where nobody could see. You were trusting a process where nothing made sense. You were having faith when circumstances screamed out. You were believing in yourself when everyone counted you out. And now you're emerging differently, stronger, clearer, more aligned, more powerful than ever before. This confuses people because they really believed you were down and out. They had conviction that you were falling apart. They had certainty that you couldn't handle it. But what they didn't understand is that sometimes you have to fall apart to come back together correctly. Sometimes the cocoon looks like a tomb until the butterfly emerges. You knew this because you've studied transformation. You understand that breakdown precedes breakthrough. The gossip has flipped now. People are talking about how good you look, how well you're doing, how everyone was wrong about you. You're being called the real deal now, genuine all along, and whoever gets close to you is being called blessed. Even that toxic person is talking about fumbling you, about losing you, about making the wrong choice. They want to apologize now. They want to make things right. If this touched your heart and mind, hype this video so more chosen ones can receive this message. What's fascinating is how the narrative completely reversed without you doing anything to force it. You didn't launch a counter-campaign. You didn't start spreading your version of events. You didn't try to convince anyone of anything. You just kept being you. You kept showing up authentically. You kept moving in integrity. And that consistent authenticity became louder than any lie they could tell. People are remembering interactions with you now. Small moments they dismissed because they believed the narrative. How you helped when you didn't have to. How you showed up when others disappeared. How you kept your word when it cost you something. How you treated people with respect, even when they didn't deserve it. All those moments that contradicted the lies are coming back to memory now. Someone remembers how you went out of your way to support them during a difficult time. Someone else recalls how you never spoke badly about that toxic person, even after everything. Another person remembers how you handled conflict with maturity, while that person threw tantrums. These memories are stacking up and creating a picture that completely contradicts everything they were told about you. The contrast is becoming impossible to ignore. You're thriving while that toxic person is spiraling. You're peaceful while they're chaotic. You're building while they're destroying. You're attracting while they're repelling. The difference is so stark that people are questioning how they ever believed you were the problem, how they ever thought someone with your energy could be the villain in anyone's life. Your silence during the attack is now being understood as strength, not weakness. Your refusal to engage in public drama is being seen as dignity, not guilt. Your decision to walk away is being recognized as wisdom, not cowardice. Everything that was misinterpreted is being reinterpreted through the lens of truth, and the new interpretation makes you look even better than you are. You're not looking better because of reinterpretation. You're being seen accurately for the first time. The lies distorted who you are. The truth is revealing who you've always been. This isn't about perception changing. This is about reality finally being visible. And reality is that you are exactly what you've always claimed to be, the real deal. An apology isn't enough, regret isn't enough, recognition isn't enough, because it shouldn't have taken burning to see you were real. It shouldn't have taken them experiencing the same pain you went through to believe your truth. You set a standard, and you're not lowering it for anyone. Not for apologies, not for regret, not for recognition that comes too late. You're evaluating whether access to who you've become is even deserved. You're not the same person who stood at those doors before. You've evolved past that version. You've transformed into someone new, so when opportunities reappear, there's no desperation, there's evaluation, there's discernment, there's power in choosing who gets access to your energy. The truth is spreading now. People are comparing notes. They're realizing that lies were told to everyone. Manipulation happened to everyone. The victim act was played with everyone. And you're the common element. You're the one who escaped early. You're the one who saw through it first. You're the one who protected yourself when it mattered. But you're not waiting for anyone to figure it out. You're already operating at a frequency where outside opinions don't even register. That toxic person is spiraling now because their lies are catching up. Their patterns are exposed, their mask cracked beyond repair. Everyone can see them clearly now. The drama you supposedly created is being created everywhere by them. The conflict you supposedly caused is being caused with everyone by them. The toxicity they projected onto you is bleeding out of them everywhere, and people see that you were the one keeping it real the whole time. You weren't being difficult, you were being boundaried, you weren't being cold. You were being protected, you weren't being mean, you were being honest. Every quality they criticized is actually a strength they lack. Every characteristic they attacked is something they envied. You knew this then, you know this now, and you never apologized for protecting your peace. That third party is fully awake now. Everything is clear to them. They're making moves. They're creating distance from that toxic person. They're telling others what they discovered. They're becoming a witness to truth. Someone who validates your reality without you having to say a word. But you don't need the validation because you already validated yourself. They trusted the wrong voices. They listened to the wrong people. Toxic advice corrupted their judgment. Maybe they followed some influencer who taught paranoia. Maybe friends fed them conspiracy theories. Maybe they grew up in an environment that taught suspicion. Whatever it was, they were led astray, and you were meant to be a teacher, not a partner. Your presence was meant to show a different way, a better way. But healing requires accountability they weren't ready to face. Now they're sitting in consequences. They're experiencing what it's like to be lied about, to be manipulated, to be played, because whoever they're dealing with now is doing to them what got done to you. That's karma working, not as punishment, but as mirror, showing them what they put out into the world, and maybe they're finally understanding that you weren't the problem, you were the solution they rejected. You weren't the villain, you were the hero they didn't deserve. The boundaries you set that were called cruel are now being recognized as necessary. The distance you created that was called cold is now being understood as wisdom. The standards you maintained that were called unrealistic are now being seen as exactly what should have been required. Your haters are wrong about you, and the proof is in how their assessment of your boundaries has completely flipped. People are realizing now that you weren't asking for too much. You were asking for the bare minimum of respect and got called demanding. You weren't being unreasonable. You were being clear about what you needed and got called difficult. You weren't being harsh. You were being direct about what you wouldn't accept and got called mean. Every boundary that was criticized is now being celebrated as the exact kind of self-respect everyone should have. What makes you the real deal is that you held those boundaries even when everyone said you were wrong for having them. You maintained your standards even when everyone said you should lower them. You protected your peace even when everyone said you were being selfish. That kind of commitment to your own well-being is rare, and it's what saved you from becoming another casualty of that toxic person's pattern. Your haters wanted you to drop your boundaries so they could continue violating you. They wanted you to lower your standards so they could continue disappointing you. They wanted you to sacrifice your peace so they could continue disturbing you. And when you refused, they called you everything but your name. But you held firm. You stood your ground. You refused to compromise on what you knew you deserved. Now people are seeing that the boundaries you set weren't about controlling anyone else. They were about protecting yourself. The standards you maintained weren't about judging anyone else. They were about honoring yourself. The peace you guarded wasn't about avoiding anyone else. It was about preserving yourself. And that self-preservation is what allowed you to still be standing when everyone thought you would fall. The whispers became declarations. People aren't just questioning anymore. They're actively rejecting the false narrative. They're not just doubting your haters, they're cutting them off. They're not just seeing truth, they're spreading it. That third party isn't keeping quiet. Real conversations are happening with people who knew both of you. And what they're finding is shocking. Everyone has a piece of the puzzle. Everyone saw something. Everyone had doubts. One person remembers stories changing, details shifting, what happened before becoming something different later. Another person recalls actions not matching words. Heartbreak claimed but already moving to someone new. Peace wanted, but drama constantly stirred. The manipulation happened the same way for everyone. Everyone was told they were special, the only one who understood, the only one who could be trusted. Each person was made to feel like a confidant, while everyone was being played against each other. Islands of believers were created who never compared notes until now. But you saw this strategy from the beginning. You recognized the divide and conquer tactic. You understood the game being played. The energy around you is shifting massively. People who avoided you are now curious. People who kept their distance are now watching. People who believed you were trouble now see the opposite. And this shift is creating opportunities. Someone who refused to work with you is reconsidering. Someone who passed on connection is reaching back. Someone who chose someone else is realizing they made the wrong choice. Your name is being cleared in rooms you've never been in. People you've never met are hearing the truth about you. Strangers are being told you're the real deal by people who finally see it. Your reputation is being restored without your involvement. That's divine justice operating at the highest level. You don't have to defend yourself when the divine is your defense. You don't have to fight when the universe is fighting for you. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random. And if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description, but you're not desperate for any of it. You already know your worth. Closed doors were protection, rejection was redirection, and sometimes the best thing that happened was someone believing a lie and walking away. Your energy became a filter, a natural filter repelling wrong people and attracting right ones. You don't have to vet people anymore. Your vibration does it automatically. Toxic people feel uncomfortable around your peace. Manipulative people feel exposed around your authenticity. Fake people feel threatened around your realness. They can't be near you for long. Your energy makes them fidget. It makes them defensive. It makes them reveal themselves. Meanwhile, quality people are drawn to you. People who've done their work. People who value authenticity. People who appreciate depth. People who respect boundaries. People who celebrate growth. You're building a completely different circle, not based on history, not based on convenience, not based on obligation, but based on alignment, based on reciprocity, based on mutual respect, based on genuine connection. And this circle is solid, this circle is real, this circle is protective. Career opportunities are appearing. People who wouldn't give you time are reaching out. Connections that seemed impossible are forming. Money that seemed stuck is flowing. Everything that was blocked during the attack is opening now. This is divine justice. Your name doesn't just get cleared, you get compensated for what was lost. The lies don't just get exposed. What the lies cost you gets restored, doubled. Vindication doesn't just happen. Elevation happens beyond where you were before. The universe is rolling out red carpets. Doors are opening before you knock. Opportunities are presenting before you seek. The filter your vibration created is working in real time. Someone reaches out trying to reconnect, and your energy immediately tells you if they're genuine or just opportunistic. Someone tries to get close, and your intuition immediately reveals their intentions. Someone attempts to enter your space, and your discernment immediately exposes their motives. You don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to wonder. You know. People are vouching for you who barely know you because your energy speaks for itself. Your reputation precedes you in the best way. Your name opens doors without you proving anything. You are the real deal. Not because people finally say it, but because you always were. The lies never changed who you are. The slander never diminished your value. The gossip never touched your essence. You've always been genuine, authentic, powerful, chosen. The only thing that changed is other people catching up to what the divine always knew. Other people seeing what was always there. Other people recognizing what never needed their recognition to be true. And now the talking is happening. Now the word is spreading. Now everyone is telling everyone, you were right. You were real. You were the one who should have been believed. That toxic person is hearing it. They're hearing how wrong they were. They're hearing how badly they fumbled. They're hearing how much they lost. And they're sitting in regret so heavy it's crushing them. Not because you wished it, but because consequences are real. Because karma is real. Because karma is real. Because divine justice is real. This is your season, your elevation, your vindication, your time. The people talking about you now are using words they never used before. Inspiring, genuine, strong, resilient, authentic. These aren't words programmed by the lies. These are words they're choosing because that's what they're experiencing when they interact with you. That's what they're seeing when they watch how you move. That's what they're feeling when they're in your presence. Your haters wanted people to see you as problematic. But people are seeing you as powerful. Your haters wanted people to see you as toxic, but people are seeing you as transformative. Your haters wanted people to see you as the villain, but people are seeing you as the victor. The complete opposite of what they intended is manifesting. And that's because lies can only distort perception temporarily. Truth always corrects the image eventually. There's a specific type of person being drawn to you now. People who have also been lied about, people who have also been misunderstood, people who have also been through character assassination campaigns. They recognize something in you. They see themselves in your journey. They understand what it takes to stand in truth when everyone believes lies, and they're connecting with you on a level that's deeper than surface friendship. These connections are forming your new circle, a circle of people who understand the cost of authenticity, who know what it's like to be targeted for shining too bright, who have also had to choose between dimming their light and losing people who couldn't handle it. This circle is different because it's forged in fire, it's tested, it's real, and it's protective of what you've built. Your haters are wrong about you, and everyone is talking about it. But more importantly, you were right about you. You knew your worth when nobody else did. You knew your truth when everyone believed lies. You knew your value when it was being publicly questioned. That internal knowing is what carried you through. That's what kept you grounded. That's what preserved your sanity when the world went crazy around you. People are asking you now how you stayed so strong, how you kept your peace, how you maintained your confidence. They want to know the secret, and the secret is simple. You decided their opinion of you would never become your opinion of yourself. You decided that external noise would never drown out your internal knowing. You decided that public perception would never override your private truth. That decision is what made you unshakable. That decision is what made you unbreakable. That decision is what made you unstoppable. Because when you're rooted in your own truth, nothing external can uproot you. When you know who you are, nobody can tell you who you aren't. When you're secure in your identity, attacks bounce off instead of penetrate. The old you was trusting, the new you is discerning. The old you was open, the new you is selective. The old you was naive, the new you is wise. You didn't lose anything valuable, you gained everything essential. This version of you is the real deal in ways the old version aspired to be. You're not just good, you're good with boundaries, not just kind with discernment, not just loving with wisdom, not just authentic with protection. People who knew you before notice the difference. Some love it, some are confused, some miss the old you who was easier to manipulate. But you're not going back, you're not reverting, you're not compromising growth for anyone's comfort. This version is here to stay, and the people who matter are loving it more, respecting it more, valuing it more. You carry yourself differently now. There's confidence that wasn't there before. Not arrogance, not ego, but deep knowing of who you are and what you're worth. You don't seek approval. You don't look for validation. You don't try to prove anything. You exist in your truth and let it speak. And that energy is magnetic. That energy is powerful. That energy is undeniable. People feel it around you. They sense the shift. They recognize the change. You're operating from a different frequency, a higher vibration, a stronger foundation, a clearer purpose. Because here's what they never understood. You can't curse what's blessed. You can't stop what's ordained. You can't destroy what's protected. They tried everything, every lie, every manipulation, every attempt to isolate, every effort to ruin your name. What makes you the real deal isn't perfection, it's authenticity. It's not never making mistakes, it's owning them when you do. It's not being without flaws, it's being honest about them. It's not having everything figured out, it's being willing to learn and grow. That's what separates you from the people who lied about you. They perform perfection, you live authenticity. And what happened? You're still here, still blessed, still favored, still rising beyond what they can comprehend. Their curses bounced off like arrows off armor. Their lies dissolved like smoke in sunlight. Their manipulation crumbled like sandcastles in tide. Because when you're chosen, when you're walking in purpose, when you're connected to Source, you have protection they can't understand. You have backing they can't compete with. You have favor they can't cancel. You gained discernment that spots toxicity before it gets close. You gained boundaries that are unshakable and non-negotiable. You gained self-worth that's rooted and permanent. You gained freedom from caring what people think. Freedom from needing everyone to like you. Freedom from trying to control narratives. Freedom from defending yourself constantly. Freedom from carrying other people's opinions. This wisdom makes you the real deal now, not just because you're good, but because you're tested and proven. Not just because you're authentic, but because your authenticity was challenged and survived. Not just because you have integrity, but because your integrity was attacked and remained intact. You became a truth serum just by existing. People either rise to meet your frequency or they remove themselves. The contrast between you and that toxic person gets more dramatic daily. You're growing, they're stagnant. You're healing, they're hurting. You're elevating, they're stuck. You're attracting quality, they're attracting dysfunction. You're building real, they're maintaining fake. People are noticing. Comparisons are being made. Questions are being asked about how anyone believed you were the problem. When light gets put next to darkness, there's no confusion. When truth gets put next to lies, the difference is obvious. When someone doing the work gets put next to someone avoiding it, the contrast is undeniable. There's an irony to all this that's almost poetic. They tried so hard to make you look bad. So much energy spent on the campaign, so much time invested in spreading lies, and it all backfired spectacularly. They wanted people to see you as toxic. Instead, people are seeing their toxicity. They wanted people to avoid you. Instead, people are avoiding them. They wanted to destroy your reputation. Instead, they destroyed their own. They wanted to isolate you. Instead, they isolated themselves. Every single thing they attempted to do to you happened to them instead. This is divine comedy. This is cosmic justice. This is the universe showing its sense of humor. Welcome to your reign as the chosen one you always were. Welcome to your empire built on truth. Welcome to the life you were always meant to live, the one where truth prevails, where light exposes darkness, where chosen ones rise, where haters fall, where justice serves itself, where you stand victorious not because you fought dirty, but because you stayed clean. You are the real deal. You always were. You always will be. And now the whole world is catching up to what your soul always knew. The whispers have become declarations, the doubts have become certainties, the lies have become cautionary tales, and you have become exactly what you were destined to be: unstoppable, undeniable, unforgettable. Your haters are wrong about you, and that fact is being broadcast louder every single day, not by you defending yourself, but by your life speaking for itself. By your character demonstrating itself, by your integrity proving itself. The real deal doesn't need press releases. The real deal doesn't need public relations campaigns. The real deal just needs to be itself, and reality takes care of the rest. The people talking about you now are becoming your advocates. They're not just correcting the record, they're amplifying truth. They're not just defending you, they're celebrating you. They're not just acknowledging that you were right, they're honoring that you stayed right, even when everyone said you were wrong. That consistency is what's making the biggest impression, because being right when everyone agrees is one thing, being right when everyone disagrees is another thing entirely. Standing in truth when it's popular is one thing. Standing in truth when it costs you everything is another. You did the harder thing. You chose the lonelier path. You took the road less traveled, and now that road is leading you exactly where you were meant to go. Your haters wanted to write your ending, but they only wrote their own. They wanted your chapters to close, but only their credibility closed. They wanted your story to finish, but only their influence finished. Meanwhile, your story is just beginning. Your best chapters are ahead. Your greatest impact is coming, and all of it is happening because you refuse to let their lies define you. This is your reign. This is your time. This is your season. And anybody still believing the lies about you is about to get educated by reality. Your life is the loudest testimony. Your growth is the clearest evidence. Your peace is the strongest proof. You are the real deal. And now everyone is finally talking about it. The way opportunities are finding you now instead of you chasing them is fascinating to watch. Projects you would have fought for before are being offered freely. Collaborations you would have begged for are being proposed to you. People who would have ignored you are now seeking your attention. The shift in how you're being approached is evidence of the shift in how you're being perceived. Your haters thought they were closing doors on you, but they were actually slamming shut doors that were too small for where you're headed. They thought they were limiting your options, but they were actually eliminating distractions from your destiny. They thought they were isolating you from opportunity, but they were actually clearing the path for bigger opportunities they couldn't even imagine. People are noticing that you've been working on yourself this whole time. While they were gossiping about you, you were gaining new skills. While they were spreading lies about you, you were building capabilities. While they were trying to destroy you, you were developing yourself. The person emerging from this trial is not the same person who entered it. You're upgraded, enhanced, leveled up in every way. The tables have turned so dramatically that it's almost cinematic. The people who wouldn't even acknowledge you in public are now name-dropping you in private. The people who distance themselves are now trying to get close. The people who wrote you off are now writing you messages. The shift is real, and it's happening fast because truth moves differently than lies. Lies spread fast but die faster. Truth spreads slower but lives forever. What's beautiful about this vindication is that you're not even focused on it. You're so busy building your future that you barely have time to acknowledge your past being corrected. You're so invested in your growth that their apologies feel irrelevant. You're so committed to your elevation that their regret feels like background noise. This is what true healing looks like. This is what real moving on feels like. Your haters thought they were the main characters in your downfall, but they were actually supporting characters in your comeback. They thought they were writing your ending, but they were actually setting up your new beginning. They thought they were destroying your reputation, but they were actually destroying their own credibility while establishing yours. Every move they made against you backfired so perfectly, it's almost poetic.